All right, greetings. So this is our syllabus video. I'm going to review the syllabus, so this will be a bit longer. We're at our Canvas page, we're at our landing home page. Again, there's a number of ways that you can get to the syllabus. I'm just going to use the link here, and it's going to bring our syllabus up. If you notice, most of our pages are accordion style, so you actually have to open up each of the links so that it will show you the information. This is Ethnic Studies, Introduction to Ethnic Studies, asynchronous or online. We have no regular meeting times. You are responsible for getting your work done on your own. I do pace the course, but it is up to you to actually initiate your activity in the course. Here's my information again, that email information, that Calendly booking page that I went over in the first welcome video, the landing page video. My office hours, some office hours are in person, some are via Zoom. All office hours need to be scheduled through the Calendly booking page. And again, you would just click the link. It goes to the page. You click the time that you want, and you fill out the pertinent information. If you indicate that you want Zoom, then a Zoom link will be sent to you at the end of your confirmation page. You are not required to put in your telephone number. That's only if you want to receive a text message of your calendar event. Make sure that you indicate your section number. It's very important. It helps me to locate. It helps me to locate you. All right, the course information, this video will actually be here. There will be a transcript of this recording also linked. The fall 2026 is our term. This is Introduction to Ethnic Studies. You're either in 47554, 47553, or 47556. I'm sorry, 47546. The modality is online asynchronous. You will log on to Canvas and it is self-initiated. I read this introduction again, ethnic studies, so you can go over it yourself. I won't read it again because I don't want the video to be super long. Ethnic studies is not a history course. It is very much a critical thinking, analytical course that's asking you to engage with viewing and reading power, that's asking you to think critically about the structure of society, how our systems are created, and how they're maintained, right? The learning outcomes, these are the 5 outcomes that the state says that you should have, or you should be able to do by the end of the course. You should be able to analyze and articulate concepts such as race and racism, racialization, ethnicity, equity, ethnocentrism, Eurocentrism, white supremacy, anti-Blackness, self-determination, liberation, colonization, sovereignty, imperialism, settler colonialism, exploitation, colonialism, xenophobia, intersectionality, and anti-racism as analyzed and studied in one or more of the 4 core fields. The 4 core fields are Black studies, Chicanx studies, Asian American Pacific Islander studies, and Native American in the United States. Those are the core 4 of ethnic studies. If you're not familiar with these terms, you will become familiar with these terms as the semester goes on. You should be able to apply theory and knowledge produced by Asian American, African American, Asian, Native Americans, and Latinx communities to describe critical events, histories, cultures, intellectual traditions, contributions, lived experiences, and struggles for these groups, with a particular emphasis on subjection or subject formation, agency, and group affirmation. So it's not about a pity party, but it is about the constant fight for liberation. Critically analyze the intersection of race and racism as they relate to class, gender, sexuality, religion, spirituality, national origin, immigration status, ability, tribal citizenship, sovereignty, language, and or age through the core four groups. You will be able to critically situate in historical context and review how struggle, resistance, racial and social justice, solidarity, and liberation are relevant to current and structural issues at local, national, international, and transnational levels. You should be able to describe and actively engage with anti-racist, abolitionist, anti-colonial, anti-imperial thought, issues, practices, and movements toward a just and equitable society. We then have some 31 course objectives. These are also outlined and approved by the CSUs and by the state for things that we will be doing within the course through activities, learning modules, and that kind of thing. I'll let you read through those just to keep this video short on the shorter end. Each of your modules will be connected to SLO or student learning outcome and course objectives. Each of your modules will be connected to some of these points so that we're covering the material that is required so that this class actually counts for transfer. This is the level of density that the CSUs want for you to be able to say that this class is actually at the level and the rigor to count at their institution. Regarding our communication plans, I will be communicating with you through several different modes. Announcements is one because there are no announcements posted. You don't see them on the navigational menu, but they will be there. Module overviews gives you all of the instructions and information that is required for the week. I will send you emails. I will send Remind app quick announcements and respond to student messages and sometimes direct messages. And then I will also respond to the Q&A discussion page, which allows you to ask questions and share comments that might be beneficial to the entire class. But it is an open space. So respectful dialogue, and make sure that you are not sharing anything that's private or personal. Student initiated interactions. You can interact with me through the Canvas inbox. Again, that's one of my preferred methods. The class Q&A, the assignment comments, announcement replies, and then Remind app. And again, the Remind app is my other preferred contact. Student to student interaction, there's a number of ways where you all can talk to one another through discussions, Canvas groups, and other instructional interactive tools such as VoiceThread or Packback. I also always encourage each of my sections to create a student-only Discord. The Discord page or some kind of page like that that is completely focused for you all allows you to communicate. Ethnic studies is about collaborative learning. Studies have shown that students who work collaboratively in their study and their quiz taking and that kind of thing actually fare better academically than many students who go it alone. That's just a statistical reality. So I always encourage students to do a Discord page, post it up in that Q&A assignment so that it's public for the entire class. Post that link up, and then you all can communicate effectively with one another as a whole class pretty easily. Each student is required to participate in course activities. Online students are required to actively engage in Canvas every week, right? That counts as your attendance, that counts as your activity. If for some reason you are not active, you need to please make sure that you're communicating with me. Email policy. I issue this email policy because sometimes students, particularly at the end of the semester, when you are frantic and in need, will start to give some oftentimes disrespectful emails. So I offer this email policy just so that we can engage one another professionally and respectively. It's also a skill set that you should develop as you enter into your professional life. So we want to greet one another, make sure that you tell me your first and last name and your section number. That's super important. Clearly detail the nature of your concern and give me a closing, and I will respond to you hopefully within that 48 hours. Required materials for this course. All of your materials are provided for you free of cost. There are some things that you will receive directly through Canvas, some things that you will go to linked, hyperlinked to the RCC library and or websites. We may, depending on access to particular documentaries, we may have to do a Riverside County Public Library Canopy account, but right now I don't think we have to. I leave it there just in case though. Textbooks, you can purchase this if you want to, but it is available online at no cost to you through the RCC library. And then each class is required to set up your Remind profile. It is a requirement. This is the Remind code for this section only. If you are in 47553 or 47554, this is not your code and you need to refer to your particular Canvas page. But you would click on the Remind app and start the sign in process, and then it will allow you to enter the code specific to your class. All right, so assignments. Assignments and assessments are designed to help students engage course materials, apply ethnic studies concepts and frameworks, and demonstrate their understanding through a variety of learning activities. We have several different assignments. Our weekly due dates are as follows. The ethnic studies labs on the weeks that we have them are due on Fridays. They help you stay on pace with the course. Labs will remain available throughout Sundays. Our content quizzes and our major assignments are due Sundays by 11:59 p.m. unless otherwise indicated on Canvas. And this is our assignment categories breakdown. So we have our welcome week orientation, getting started assignments, and we'll go through those assignments in another video. These are just our welcome week assignments. They're worth 5%. We have content quizzes, 7 of those. And those are due on Sundays. And they are 40% of your grade. So the bulk of your grade, the bulk category are the quizzes. Quizzes are multiple choice, multi-answer, true, false, and matching. And those again are due on Sundays by 11:59 p.m. We have ethnic studies labs. These are assigned not every week. We have 12 of them in the 16-week semester. They are due on Fridays. I do leave them open until Sundays. They are due on Fridays, and they will close that week. There are two really low stakes assignments to aid you in processing the materials in smaller activities to make sure that you're processing the materials. Some of them are group assignments or community circle assignments. Our community circles, I'm going to talk about in just a couple of minutes. Our online classes, well, all of our classes are required, particularly for ethnic studies, to work collaboratively and have some group social justice element to them. That is a part of the requirement at the CSU level for it to count for your transfer. So we do engage in community circle activities on several weeks for the labs. And then we have three major assignments. We have ethnic studies in the wild. That's 12% of your grade. This is an individual assignment. It's a one-page visual artifact analysis, applying concepts to a cultural or public-facing analysis. That's due week 5. We have a collaborative community circle assignment that's creating a comparative visual map across two communities or movements that identify connections, differences, tensions, and possibilities. That's due week 11, and that's 13% of your grade. And then the final 15% of your grade, rounding it off to a total of 100%, is an individual assignment. It's community knowledge, community action. It is an individual-like community engagement assignment consisting of a field note card and an action artifact grounded in course frameworks. And we'll talk about those assignments as they come up. That's due week 15. There is no final in this class. There's no final in this class. That major assignment is your last assignment. So community circles are part of our collaborative learning pedagogy. Collaborative learning is a required part of ethnic studies courses. During week 1, you will complete the Build Our Community Circles questionnaire, which I will use to then organize you into small community circles based on scheduling and other participation considerations. Although this is an asynchronous course and the class does not have a set scheduled meeting time, your community circle will need to arrange brief times during the designated week to meet, talk, and work together. I will not assign a meeting time for your group. Your circle members will be responsible for communicating with one another and identifying meeting times that work for the group. Do not wait till the last minute. We've already outlined the weeks that those community circle events will happen, so you can plan them in advance. The community circle activities are part of the required coursework. They are not optional activities. Groups should make responsible efforts to accommodate members' work schedules, caregiving responsibilities, religious or cultural observations, accessibility needs, and other reoccurring commitments. You can meet on Zoom or some other virtual platform. You do not need to meet in person, but you do need to meet with one another. I talked about these dates. Be mindful of the refund and add dates, because you can add well after you can get a refund. So be mindful of that. Academic integrity. RCC is committed to academic integrity. Again, I am a believer in community engagement. I am a believer in community learning. You learn much more effectively in that way. And plagiarism, cheating during the exam. I think that you all should take your exams together, so I don't really think of this as cheating. Any other practices that can be considered academic dishonesty is important. Read through those and ensure that you are clear on what is considered academic dishonesty. AI. So our AI policy for ethnic studies courses is as follows. Ethnic studies is grounded in critical inquiry, community knowledge, lived experience, and careful engagement with histories, cultures, and systems of power. So in this course, you will be asked to interpret course materials, apply ethnic studies concepts, analyze cultural and public-facing artifacts, and make connections across communities and movements, and develop your own understandings of issues we study. Artificial tools such as ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, Gemini can be useful learning tools. So I am not against AI. In fact, you're going to find that there are some slides that are clearly older slides that are built solely through PowerPoint. And then there's some slides that I am using. I'm updating my slides right now, and I'm using AI to help me update them. There are new compliance laws for the American Disabilities Act. Well, the laws aren't new, but they're enforcing them differently. And so I'm using AI as a pretty helpful tool to ensure that I am AI compliant on my PDFs, that I'm AI compliant in the documents that I give you all and supply you all, and that I'm AI compliant on my PowerPoint slides. I use AI myself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use AI. I'm saying that there are appropriate uses of AI. Know that I want to hear your voices. I want to know what you're thinking, how you're processing. That's super important to me. Um, so I've outlined this policy, or Ethnic Studies has outlined this policy to use across our specific courses about AI and why it matters in ethnic studies. Because the purpose of ethnic studies is not just producing correct looking answers, but really kind of grappling with some challenging information, being able to recognize structures of power, being able to develop the skills that help you to examine whose knowledge is centered and whose is being excluded, for you to be able to interpret cultural production, and for you to develop a critical lens and a thinking that helps you to create a hopefully a more just and equitable society. I want you to think about those things. I want you to know again that your voice is super, super important in this class. Your work should demonstrate your engagement with the people, ideas, histories, production, and frameworks that we study. Um, I want us to have challenging conversations. I want us to exchange ideas. I think that's the way that we develop effective learning. I'm not looking just for right answers. I am looking for you to tackle some things, right? If you are using AI, just like I was transparent with you, and you will find that I'm transparent in my throughout the course about AI use. Be transparent when you do use it and how you're using it, right? You are responsible for the accuracy when you do use it. Know that AI is not perfect, and it does oftentimes in ethnic studies classes get content very, very wrong. So be very mindful of that as you are accessing it or using it. Um, and some assignments will distinctly prohibit AI entirely, right? And those are the assignments that I'm trying to really focus on getting your voice. Here are the grading and feedback outlines. So for Welcome Week and Getting Started assignments, these are graded primarily for completion, just setting up your Canvas space, learning how the class is organized, introducing yourselves to one another, those kinds of things. Getting set up is what that Welcome Week is. You will probably spend no more than an hour and a half to 2 hours completing all of the assignments, and maybe the quiz. So yeah, it shouldn't be that long. Content quizzes are graded automatically through Canvas. They are designed to help assess your understanding in your of key course concepts and identify areas that you need additional review. Our quizzes allow for 2 attempts. They are 2 hours each attempt. You are able to see your answers at the end of the attempts, and or your incorrect answers at the end of the attempts. And um, I do again encourage that you take them communally. The labs are graded based on completion, engagement with the assigned course materials, and demonstration and your demonstrated application of ethnic studies concepts and frameworks. When specific criteria or a rubric is provided, your work will be evaluated according to that criteria. The major assignments are graded individually using the criteria and rubrics provided for each assignment. Grading will focus on your understanding and application of course concepts, engagement with assigned materials, quality of analysis, completion of required components, and clarity of presentation. With regards to your community circle assignments, the assignments for your labs and the assignments for your that one major assignment, you will be assessed individually. You do not get a grade based on what other folks have done. So a part of the submission of those assignments will be who contributed what to those assignments. So though you're submitting a group assignment and the entirety of the assignment will be graded, so the entire assignment needs to be completed. But if you showed up the last day of your community circle assignment and your group had already completed everything, then they will get the full grade for what they submitted and you will get the grade that you've earned. So I want to be very, very clear on that. Community circle assignments, the low stakes ones and the major assignment are graded based on your participation in your activity in that assignment, not you get a grade based on what was submitted, even if you didn't participate. Feedback may be provided through the rubric scores, through assignment comments, quiz feedbacks, in-class discussions for in-class, for in-person classes, for online classes, discussion comments. There will generally be a rubric provided for all of your assignments so that you have an understanding of where and on what I'm assessing you. Attendance and late policy as an online course, active participation in Canvas is essential. It is required. You're required to engage weekly in course activities, assignments, quizzes, and collaborative work to demonstrate consistent participation. To maintain in this course, you must log into Canvas regularly. You must complete all required assignments on time, including discussion post quizzes and group activities. Engage with course materials and instructor communications. Actively participate in course activities and community circle collaborations by contributing meaningful responses and engaging with your peers. Failure to actively engage in Canvas with your groups may result in you being dropped from the course. If you anticipate any challenges in meeting these requirements, please communicate with me as soon as possible. Your active participation is not only a requirement, but also an opportunity to enrich your learning experience, the learning environment, and to contribute to a meaningful discussions with your classmates. I understand that sometimes things come up, life happens, sometimes life's us really hard sometimes. So make sure that you're communicating with me. If we're in communication and can come to some agreements, then missed assignments can be made up. Absences for any reason will not be excused. Absences for any reason are not an excuse for students to just not do any of the work, right? After an absence, it is the student's responsibility to consult me, or even before the absence, if you know that it's coming, to consult me about missed assignments or to talk to your group members or to communicate with your community on Discord. Makeup assignments will be accepted contingent on circumstances surrounding the absence. There will be extra credit opportunities offered throughout the spring. Some of them will be online participation extra credit. Some of them will be in-person things that you can go to, events on campus, events in the surrounding community. If you know of things, please share them with me, and they can potentially be an extra credit opportunity if they apply to ethnic studies. I have given you some information for student support. For students with disabilities and accommodations, please contact the DRC. I have that information in 2 locations. If you have accommodations, specific accommodations, you contact the DRC. The DRC will send me a letter notifying me of what your specific accommodations are. You can keep it private. Student health, your health, mental and physical, super important. You never know what someone is going through. You never know what it takes for someone to start their day or get through their day. You cannot thrive, or it's much more challenging to thrive as a student if your physical and mental health are not cared for. RCC has services that are available to you. You are already paying for these services through your student fees. So make sure that you take part and you use them, right? Make sure that you're getting the most out of the services. So student health and psychological services offer a broad range of confidential services. Here is their numbers. They are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Bradshaw below the bookstore. And that's their link to their website. Here is the DRC information, their operating hours, telephone numbers, emails, and a website. Tutoring, for reading and writing tutoring, please contact the Reading Support or Writing Support Centers. It's located in the Martin Luther King Teaching and Learning Center, and that's their website. Again, technical support for Canvas issues has to be made through Canvas support. I cannot fix Canvas issues. Your screen isn't showing up, that kind of thing. I can only check whether or not an assignment is functioning correctly for the entire class. But if an assignment is not functioning correctly for you individually, that will need to go through Canvas, and any other Canvas issues, you not being able to log on and that kind of thing. All right, so our weekly schedule. This is our weekly schedule. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to try to fix that. This is our weekly schedule. It outlines the topics of each week. It outlines when your labs are community circle labs. When your labs do not indicate community circle on them, then they are individual labs. It indicates the assignments, the weeks that the quizzes are due, and that kind of thing. So we've outlined the entire 16 weeks. All of the 16 weeks is not uploaded in Canvas. I am revamping, again, of my PowerPoints because I'm trying to ensure that I am compliant with our ADH compliance rules. So I'm trying to make sure that I do that for all of the Canvas modules. I'll be populating those a bit more slowly because I'm trying to make sure that I get it all right so that students aren't having to ask for accommodations around those kinds of things. There's some things that should actually just exist so that all students have access all the time. And then you can download a copy of your syllabus. I need to add the link here, but it will be linked here. You can download a copy of your syllabus. And then there is a summary of courses of the different assignments that are so far linked into Canvas. And that is our syllabus. Our syllabus also indicates the weight of assignments. It has your calendar. And I'm going to end this video here since it's already pretty long, and I will go through the Canvas module in our next video.